Okay, so story time. Before I want to just get the story out before it weighs on me any longer. So, I'm here in Canada. Just got to Vancouver. It's beautiful, lovely, absolutely amazing. Crossing the border last night. Eesh, that was a different story. That one was pretty tough, man. So, let me tell you guys what fucking I had to go through. I pull up to the border and I like just smoked, like my car reeks, like I'm high as fuck. And then I'm talking to the dude and like I'm all happy and like being all chipper and like smiling. And the dude was like dead serious, like mad almost. Like, and I'm like, fuck, dude. And so like he tells me to like, and he's like, oh, do you have any like alcohol or cannabis tobacco to declare? And I was like, no. Like, even though I had like a quarter ounce and like my glove compartment, and like I totally forgot, but I had like old dab pens like just like lying around and like little like empty carts and shit. And so I was like, oh, I tell him no. And then he's like, oh, okay, like pull over and like go straight ahead and pull to the left. And there was like parking spots and like customs officers. And so I pull up and like the dude's like standing there, tells me where to park. And then I see officers come out of the building and just start searching people's cars, and I'm like, oh fuck, like they're gonna find it. And so I walk up to the dude who like first guided me in, and I was like, hey yo dude, and he was like, yeah, what? And then I like walk closer because I didn't want to shout like to him. And so I like stand next to him and he like gets sketched out and he like steps away. And then he's like, I'm like, oh dude, like if I forgot that I had a little bag of weed in my car, like could I just toss it away real quick? He's like, no, like go inside, and like points me to like the building. So I go in, and then I hear him call out like one of the officers like next to my car, searching the person next to me. And then I hear the dude who I just told to call out. He's like, oh yeah, it's that one. And it's like, and then she opens the door. She's like, oh yeah, I like fit. And so I walk in and I'm like, fuck, okay, whatever. And I'm standing in line like with a smile. I'm just like dancing to myself because I keep in mind that I'm like, oh, like, you know, they can't touch me. Like I'm divinely protected. Like this is just all part of my path. Like I have beings looking out for me, like I'm good. And so that's the energy I'm holding. And then like the dude finally comes back, calls me up, and I see the girl with him, and that was a girl who like called out my car. And so I started talking to him, and I just tell him, I was like, yeah dude, like I have some weed in the car. He's like, oh, how much? And I'm like, 7 grams, like about like a quarter ounce, like a handful. And then he was like mad dogging me the whole time. The girl's mad dogging me. And then so both of them come back, step around the counter, and then like tell me like, oh, we're gonna search you. So I take off my jacket, they search it. I like lift up my waist. I turn around, lift up my waist, lift up like my socks, and then they're like, oh, okay, like, and then they go back around. And so they tell me to have a seat. I go sit down, and then they come back, and the dude calls me up. So I come up, and like in the bag right here, they have the weed and my grinder, and then they like took the weed out of the little bag, and like they gave me back the empty one. So it's like, okay, they gave me back my grinder, which is cool. But anyway, he like pulls it out, and he's like, oh, like, and he tells me, he's like, oh, like, so your chance to declare was in the booth, but since you told the officer outside, like, we're gonna let it slide, because if you said no and didn't declare it and so we found it, it would be a smuggling charge. I'm like, holy shit, like I got so fucking lucky. I'm like, oh, okay, like cool, like they're letting me, like they're being cool about it, like sweet. And like, so I go back and sit down, and then they keep like searching my car, and so I'm just sitting there. And then oh yeah, so while I was up there first, I was like tapping on the dash. I was a little fidgety, I was like smiling, because that's just how I am. Like I'm a little hyper, I'm also like positive, I love to smile, a little goofy. And then dude's like, oh, like, are you high right? He was like, when was the last time you smoked? I was like, last night. And they just keep asking me this throughout the whole time. When was the last time? I was like, last night. And so he's like, oh, like, because if we have like reason to, if I have reasonable grounds for suspecting that you're under the influence, like I got to make sure you're okay to drive, and like we would have to do a field sobriety test. Like, yeah, okay, sure. Like I wasn't too worried about it. Even though I was high as fuck, I still wasn't worried about it. And then I go sit back down, and then so I'm trying to remember the order of events that this happened. So while I'm sitting down, right, after they already searched me, and I sit down, and then I see an officer walk in with a dog, like all the way on the other end of the building. I want to say like literally like 30 feet, 40 feet away. Like maybe even like 50 to 60. It was a pretty big building. It was super far. And like the dog starts walking, and he just beelines it straight to me. And then shoves his fucking head into my like right leg, into my crotch, and sits down. And I'm like, fuck. Like, he sits down next to me. And so the officer, like, holding his leash, he looks at me, he's like, hey, dude, like, do you have anything, like, on you? And I'm like, no, like, I don't. And he was, like, kind of being cool about it, too. He was like, oh, you know, like, giving me a chance. He was like, oh, dude, yeah, because sometimes people freak out. They'll stuff a joint in their crotch. Like, it happens. Like, do you have anything to declare? And I'm like, nah, dude, like, they literally just searched me. Like, they literally just searched me. I'm good. Like, I promise you, I don't have anything. I even gave him a thumbs up. I'm like, we're all good. He's like, you sure, man? Because, like, we might have to do, like, a strip search. Like, I'm like, dude, we're all good. Like, I promise you, I don't have anything. And so he gives me, like, a little side eye. He's like, okay. And he walks. And I'm like, fuck, dude. We both know what was, like, going to happen now. And so, like, he walks back. And then I'm just sitting there. And so they call me, first dude calls me up again, and then he brings out like the weed, and then they found like the dab pens, like all the old cards. And he started telling me, he's like, oh yeah, like we're gonna have to seize this, like, and then there was a girl next to him. He's like, oh, like what's the penalty for like 8 grams? And she like looks it up. She was like, like over 8 grams is like a fine of this much. And he's like, oh, but like what about like 8 grams or under? She's like, it just says over 8. And so he looks, and they're like, oh, like he barely missed the threshold, like. And so he like looks at me, and that was one of the moments where I was like, I'm so divinely protected. And I knew, because like right before I stopped, I smoked, right before I crossed the border, I stopped to like smoke a bowl, right? And so I was thinking, I was like, that amount of weed, however small like the nug was that I packed in the bowl, saved me, because if I didn't smoke that bowl, it would have been over 8, and that would have been a whole nother issue. And so it was literally 8.00 grams, and it was like that was a really defining moment. And so he explains to me like how he has to seize it and put paperwork in. It's going to go on my record. So not every time I go into Canada for the next 7 years, they're going to stop me no matter what. I'm going to second inspection. They're going to stop me. And so he's explaining this. And so I go sit back down, right? And then like more times pass. And as I like sit down, like keep in mind, I got there at 8. It's already like 10. And then so he's like asking me questions about money. And I was like, yeah, like I had 1,000 in my wallet. He went through it. And I was like, yeah, like I have $100 in my bank account, which I didn't even, like I don't even. But I was like, yeah, I got $100. And then that's when like we started like having an issue, because he like literally pulled up the things, the visitor requirements, and so it says proof of residence, proof of employment, proof of funds, and healthcare. And I tell him I'm unemployed and that I'm in between jobs, because like now I'm doing like this vlogging stuff, so I could have said that, like, but anyway, I tell him I'm unemployed. I tell them that I like don't live anywhere here or own a house or rent anything. And then I tell him that like I only have $100 and the great 1,000 in my name, and that I'm flying out of Bali. And like, and then they ask me, they're like, oh, like have you like researched like parking at the airport? I'm like, no, because I haven't. I was like, dude, I'll just figure it out as I go along, and that's kind of my motto. And so I was like, no, and they hated me, dude. Like they hated the fact that I didn't have plans for anything, and that I'm just like playing it by ear. Like they so were not fucking with that. And so yeah, he's like sweating me about money, and I'm like, oh, dude, like I could have people send me money. Like he's like, oh, like how much are we talking? And so I'm like 500, like to cover like the parking, right? And so he's like, I'll tell you what, like you sit down, I have to fill this out, research how much the parking is going to be, and I'll research it on my own, and then get as much money as you think is going to be reasonable, and then we'll come back, because like you do research, I do mine. I'm like, okay, cool, like I'm a gambling man, like this game sounds good. And so I'm like, I sit back down, I research, found like parking like reservations for the 2 months I'm out in Bali for like 270 and like 320, right? And so I pulled those up, and then I hit up my business partner and like really good friend to like send me money, right? And so she comes through in clutch. Like, shout out to her. I so love her. Like, this was awesome. She came through and she like had to go to Walgreens and send me 500 and wire it to me. And so like, but before that happened, right? This was like a whole story. All this was going on at the same time. So before that happened, I was sitting down and they called me up again. And so he was like, oh, like, we're going to do a field sobriety test. And then start going through, like, the official procedures. And, like, the dude who I first told that I had weed in my car that I left it in, he did the field sobriety test. So he's like, oh, we're going to come out of the view of public, so, like, you could do it. So they pull me off to, like, a hallway where they have all the holding cells. And there's, like, a line that they have on the floor. So he starts giving me tests, right? The first one was, like, follow the pen and move only your eyes and not your head. And I was like, okay. So I like was doing it, and then he's like, and then he did the next one. He's like, okay, hold up one of your legs, and then just start counting in this manner: 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. And he's like, I'll give you a moment. Like, which leg do you want to hold up? So I tried them out. I was like, all right, I'll hold up my right leg. He's like, okay. So I hold it up. I'm like 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. I go all the way up to like 25, 1,000. He's like, okay, good. Like, that's enough. You could stop. And then he's like, okay, final test. Like, we're gonna walk heel toe. Let's see, how can I show you? We're gonna walk heel toe and hit your feet against the, like, hit your heel against the toes of your foot and count each step. And go 9 steps and turn around and go another 9 steps. And then he showed me what to do. And he's like, pivot like this, like, and then I was like, okay, cool. And then at the end he was like, okay, just do what you think I instructed you to do. And so I did 9 steps. And then when I got to the pivot part, I noticed he had his right foot in front and pivoted on his right. And I had my left. So I stopped. I was like, oh, dude, like, so I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. I'm like, oh, dude, like, is it okay? Like, you pivoted on your right, but I started with my feet opposite, so I'm on my left. Is it okay if I pivot, like, on my left? He's like, oh, yeah, just, like, do the best of, like, what you think, like, do the best that you can to fulfill the instructions. Okay, cool. Pivot on my left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. And then I was like, okay. And like the whole time I was like holding shoulders back, head up high, like, because they like couldn't touch me, and I wasn't gonna let them like break my spirit. Because I remember the story that I came across on Instagram where it was like this king was captured by an enemy army, and while they were holding him prisoner, even though he was a prisoner, he never acted like it, and he always kept acting like a king. He would order them to be silent. He would order for silence while he slept. He would recite poetry. He would like tell stories, like, and they would like, he would sing. And the whole point was like, even though he was a prisoner, he still had the mentality of a king, and he was always still a king. And so like when they were like field testing, sobriety testing me, shoulders back, like I kept my king status, I kept my king energy, because no, they cannot touch me. And like I know, like, yes, I'm divinely protected and guided, and yes, I will get through this, and yes, everything happens the way it's meant to be, and everything works out, and yes, the universe has my back. So I'm just keeping this energy. Like it's almost like the Bible story of like Jesus' disciples walking through fire and being unscathed, like that type of energy. So I'm holding it, like, field sobriety test, like a pass, walk out, head fucking high, shoulders back. I walk out, and then a little bit goes by, and he calls me up again. He's like, okay, we're gonna do a strip search on you. And this was probably the like most fucking hardest part of the thing. And so I was like, okay, cool, whatever, like, I get it. Like, the dog fucking sat down next to me and shoved its fucking snout in my crotch. Like, I get it. Like, this was inevitable. So we go back to the same little hallway, but in like a cell this time. And they have like this poster with like the rights, so he has me read it out loud. And then I know I was passing this test because I was reading it fast too, and like clearly. And like if I was high, which I was really fucking high, but if they thought I was high, like I wouldn't have been able, they would have thought that I would have been like stumbling and shit. So I aced the sobriety test. So like I read it, and then that's when they started having me take off my clothes. He's like, oh, what gender do you identify as? I'm like, male. He's like, okay, we identify as male. Like, and now I've been wondering, I'm like, what if I just said like female? Like, what if like they would have had to like bring in like, dude, anyway. But So they're like, okay, so I take off my jacket, they search it. Take off my shirt, they search it. Because it's like one by one article of clothing. Take off my shoes, they search it. So it's like he was searching my shoes, like banging against the wall, checking like the insoles, like, and I like my smart ass, like I do. My humor is a very big coping mechanism for me, especially when like stressful, intense, and awkward situations. So I was like, while he was searching my shoe, I was just like, dude, do people really have compartments in their shoes? Because I was thinking about them, like that'd be sick. Like, and then and then the guy searching, he wasn't having it. He didn't even respond. And the other guy was actually kind of cool about it. He's like, yeah, like you'd be surprised. Like people hide shit in their shoes. They have compartments. I was like, huh. And then like I just didn't say anything after that. And then it was a pants, right? And then I'm standing there in my boxers, and they gave me my shirt back to put back on. And I was like, and they're like, okay, your shorts. I'm like, these aren't shorts. They're like, these are boxers. He's like, yeah, like we're gonna need those. I'm like, And I had to take a little moment, and I asked him, I'm like, could I cover up at all? Like cover up a little bit at least? And he's like, no, like that's kind of like the point. And I was like, okay. And so I take off my like fucking boxers. I'm standing dick and balls out, swinging this shit in front of like them. And like while I was doing this was another one of my tests, because it's like same story of the king and the prisoner king. I was like, dude, like I'm not putting my head down. My head's remaining held high. Like this is just one temporary situation. It doesn't define me. It's not dragging me down, and I'm not gonna let it bring me down. So I kept my head held fucking high while he was like touching my boxers. And they're like, okay, like lift up your balls. So I had to fucking lift it up. And then he's like, okay, now like turn around, bend over, and spread your cheeks. And like, I just kind of laugh. And I just kind of chuckle. I'm like, because how fucking awkward is that? And I'm just thinking about it through their perspective too. Like, I'm sure this isn't what they want to be doing right now. This isn't what they want to see. And I'm also thinking about like, dude, they have to do this with so many other dudes. Like, this is a normal day in the fucking office for them. So, and I was so awkward, because like that phrase also, like, turn around, bend over, and spread your cheeks. I'm like, dude, like, am I in a fucking porno right now? And so I just kind of chuckle. I do it, and quickly they're like, okay, you're good. Like they weren't trying to look. Like it was kind of respectful, actually. Like shout out to them for that. I was like, okay, yeah, like we're done. Like, and so I put my clothes back on. I walk out. Same thing. Head held fucking high. I might be a prisoner in their jail right now, but I'm still a fucking king, and they can never take that shit away from me, ever. And so I walk out held high, and I just sit down. And then this is when like I hit my breaking point, because sitting there I'm like, fuck, dude, like who do I hit up to send me? Oh, the dude calls me back up, and he's like, oh, 500 like isn't really easing my concerns right now. Like, is there a number you could provide me to ease my concerns? And this is a classic like sales negotiation tactic. Like, they're trying to get me to give a number, but the thing is, it's like, I didn't want them to give me too high of a number. I didn't want them to pick one, because if they did $5,000 or $3,000, like, dude, like that would have been a whole nother thing. So I didn't want to pick that number. So I just inched up a little bit. I could have said 1,000, but I was just like, $2,000, dude. Like, what about $2,000? He's like, okay, like now we're talking. He was like, you like sit down, like see if you could gather it up. And like while I fill out this paperwork for the seizure, like for the weed that we took, blah blah. And I was like, sit down. And then I'm just like hitting up people, like trying to like contact them. Like, who do I hit up? Who can I ask for help? I even text my sister, but like I didn't want to ask my parents or my family for help. And I hated that like I even had to like text my sister. And like I literally said, I phrased it, I was like, you could help me, like the officer is like holding me and he wants $2,000 like to let me through. And like, and I literally told her before I even asked, I was like, you know, like I don't like to ask. Feel free to say no. It's okay. I'll just head back to my cousins in Oregon. Like, it's okay. Don't feel obligated to help me. But if you can, like, could you please send me $2,000 and I'll just send it right back. Like, I literally just needed to get across. And then, yeah, she was like, oh, well, like, how are you going to support yourself? Maybe it's better if you just go back. And that was it. She didn't text me after that. I didn't text her until, like, I made it across, like, last night at, like, 1 a.m. So, like, I just left it at that. And so, like, huge shout out to my friend for sending me the 500. She literally saved me and she saved this trip, and like so I can't thank her enough. Like, if you're watching this, thank you so much. Like I can't even express in words my gratitude. And so then at a certain point, I was like, fuck, dude, like, is this just as far as I get? Like I know everything's still gonna work out, but I'm also accepting the fact in this moment that the plan might work out differently than how I envisioned it, and that how I'm planning on it to work out. And so, and then as I was having this moment where like, this was my breaking point. This is where I actually started like breaking down, and like I started crying a bit, tearing up, and like, dude, like, cause at this moment I just felt like so helpless almost. I was like, dude, like, if money wasn't an issue, like if I had money, I wouldn't even be in this situation. Like, and I feel like I've been in so many of those types of situations. So I was like, dude, if I had money, I would be able to just solve this like way easier, and it wouldn't be such a hassle or issue or like draining or taxing. And so this was one of those moments where it's like, fuck, dude, like, if I just had money, I could show my fucking millions in my bank account and I have no issue. And like, so I was kind of like starting to break down. I was like, dude, like, it's late. Like, who do I lean on for help? Like, my friend's coming through, so I'm so extremely grateful for that. Like, who else can I hit up for money to reach this $2,000? I asked ChatGPT for advice, not much help. And I'm like, that's when I'm like, dude, like, maybe I do just like turn around right now. Maybe I do just call it a day. I tried my hardest. I tried my best, and that's what matters. I literally have tried my best. And so, and then while I was going through this moment, the time was 10:23, 1:23. So I screenshot that, and then I open up Instagram to just kind of like distract myself for a little bit. First thing I see is like, oh, trust, like, let go and trust. Like, everything's going to work out. Like, you're exactly where you're meant to be right now. Like, just be present in the moment. Focus on gratitude. Like, everything's working out. That was the first post I saw on Instagram. So it kind of was like, okay, like a reassurance that the universe is like testing me, having my back. And like, so I just ended up walking to the dude. I was like, yo, dude, like, with tears in my eyes, I'm broken at this point. I was like, dude, like, could I just get my stuff back, like, and leave? Like, I'm like, can I just go back at this point? And then I noticed, like, because this whole time, like, he's been like official officer, like interrogator, like aggression, like that type of energy this whole time. But then like when I walked up and asked him this, I noticed like his whole demeanor just softened, and he was like, oh, like, do you not want to come to my country anymore? And I was like, dude, I do, like, I really do. But like, the thing is, I've come all this way, and right now, like, I just don't know what to do. Like, I literally just do not know what to do at this point. And I'm like saying this with tears in my eyes. Embarrassing, like, not embarrassing myself, actually. I'm like crying in front of like him, in front of like the officers next to him. But it's not embarrassing. And I want to clarify this, because showing emotion does not make me weak. If anything, my ability to show my emotion is my strength. And so it was not embarrassing, and I take that back. And so I'm like crying in front of him, and I'm like, dude, I just don't know what to do. And then that's when like he like, it was almost felt like he was treating me like his kid or something, like, because he was like a substantially older, like he could have been my dad. And it was like, maybe not, like mid-30s, 40s. Damn, I'm older than I thought. Okay, maybe not, maybe. But like, anyway, he softened. He was like, okay, well, like, I'll tell you what, I still have to file this paperwork anyway. Just hang around, like, take a seat, see what you could gather in that time, and then we'll just take it from there. I was like, okay, like, we could do that. So I sit down, I'm just there hitting people up. And like the podcast, the Jay Shetty podcast I watched earlier, the dude was talking about one more day of not giving up, one more call, one more this, one more rep, like one more. And so I was just like, okay, like, let me just give it one more chance, hit up maybe one more person. And so I was just sitting there, and then my friend goes to Walgreens, and then I text my friend, I'm like, okay, maybe 500 will be enough, because I texted her earlier, like, oh, he's asking for 2,000 now. And so I was like, okay, maybe 500 will be enough. She's like, oh, I just got back from Walgreens. And I felt bad, like, having her go back again. But, like, she was willing to do it. She was willing to help me out. So she went back. And I'm just there waiting, like, scrolling through Instagram, trying to distract myself so I'm not, like, freaked out about, like, the situation. Just trying to stay calm and, like, relax. Scrolling through Instagram, I'm seeing synchronicities, see 555, like, on one of the posts. I'm like, okay. It's helping me calm down a little bit, like, remain grounded, breathe. And so it was so divine timing. It's so real. And so, because I'm sitting in the chair looking at my phone, and I open my bank account and I see the 500. It just hit, literally. And she texted me like, I just sent it. I was like, oh. And as I open up my bank account, see the 500, the officer calls me up, and I'm like, wow, what divine timing. The second I get it is the second he's ready. And so I walk up, and I'm excited. I'm like, dude, I got it, like, $500. And then he was like, and then he starts explaining to me how it's like a liability on his end. Like, the officers have to be sure that, like, you're able to support yourself if you get sick, or, like, have health insurance or funds to cover your stay, and blah blah. And then so he's like, oh, do you have credit cards? I was like, yeah. And then I show him them. He's like, oh, okay, could you please pull up those bank accounts if you don't mind? And my heart drops. I'm like, oh my God, like, he literally just saw me struggle for like an hour to get $500. And now when I open up my credit cards, he's going to see I have like $6,000 in debt. And I'm like, dude, there's no way he's going to let me through after seeing that. And so I'm like literally just sitting there on the counter, like with my hands like on the thing. And I was like, and I'm just there like staring at my phone. And then I just kind of put it away, hoping that he'd forget. Because he also mentioned something else, and we talked about that. So I just put my phone to the side, hoping to forget. And he's like, oh, like, did you pull it up? And then I'm like, dude, I'm like, would it be possible to just like not, like, could I just not show you? And then he just gives like a little disappointed sigh. And at this point, it was already late. It was like 11. Most of the officers left, and there was just like one dude next to him. And the dude even gave like a little side eye. And then the guy was like, just like a disappointed sigh. He's like, well, and he starts breaking it down for me. And he was really cool, actually. Shout out to this guy. And he's like, well, you've been compliant and have complied with everything I've asked of you so far. And we're so close. He said, like, we're so close, you're almost there. This is a final stretch. And I read in between the lines. I picked up what he was saying. And it was like, oh, okay, dude, like, he's giving me a chance here. Like, I just have to show it, and we're good. Like, it doesn't even have to, like, be great. I'm like, okay, sweet, dude. So I show him. And then he sees, like, 2,000, like, on the bill. And he's like, okay. And then, and he's like, okay. And then here's where he was really clutch. Shout out to this guy. Because he's like, okay, well, could I see the available credit? I'm like, yeah, dude, yeah, totally. And so I pull it back up, all excited and happy, and I show it. He's like, okay, like 1,300, like, and I pull up the other end, like, okay, 700. He's like, okay, so like together about you have like 2,000 available. And I'm like, yes, dude. I'm like, because that's where I got the 2,000. Like, I made the 2,000. I made it, baby. I made it. I was like, yes. And he's like, okay, well, you're free to go. Like, you've complied. And he fills out like a little paperwork, and he starts breaking it down. He's like, oh, just by the way, like, since this was on your account now for 7 years, like, when you fly back into the country, they're going to search you, like, in Bali. They're going to search you at the airport. So you just make sure you have nothing on you. And I was like, okay. Because he was explaining how, like, weed is, like, classified as a narcotic. So now they had to, like, search me for other narcotics if I was smuggling them in. And, like, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention at another point, like, calls me up in the desk in front of, like, 8 other officers, too, there. Because everyone was in on this, dude. The whole fucking immigration service was on my ass. Like, everyone was fucking talking about me and in on it. Like, damn, I attract attention even when I don't want to. And so, and that's when he was like, oh, dude, like, why did the dog sniff you? And everyone's looking at me. All 9 officers are fucking eyes on me. I'm like, oh, dude, well, like, I explained how, like, I hold the joints, like, on my right leg. I don't have anything, and I promise. And I was telling him, like, you could search me. Like, I don't have anything. And he was like, okay, like, because they were like giving me a chance to confess, but I legitimately didn't have anything on me. It's like, so, like, like, what can I say? Like your dog's like, what can I say? Like, your dog is doing its job, but also I don't have anything on me. And so, not until today did I realize that when I roll up joints and pack bowls, I have all the weed fall on my right leg right here. So like my leg is just covered in like little bits of weed from like that fell out of the joint, and the dog picked up that residue. So the dog had it right, but I was just like, too late, buddy. Like, you could have been right like a couple hours ago, but not right now. And so like, yeah, that was, and then like he let me go. I drove off, and then fuck, dude, that's when I called my friend and told her everything that happened. And then like, holy shit, dude, like the roller coaster of emotions that I went through, like untouchable, happy, serious, because the dude hated like my fidgeting and my smiling, laughing, like, so I had to get serious, and it gave me traumatic flashbacks to like my upbringing where I couldn't smile or laugh or be happy in my house because that meant I was high. Like, that triggered me. That triggered a traumatic like response. So actually that was like a opportunity to heal. There was a whole lot of blessings, dude. I could have been like convicted for smuggling, and I could have been a felon. Like, it could have gone so much worse, but like I could have had over 8 grams. Like, I could have had nobody who was available to send me money. Like, I had so many blessings in this moment. So that's what I'm focusing on. Like, I was so blessed. And I'm here in Canada. I made it. I'm here in the promised land. And they're like letting me fly out to Bali and everything. Oh yeah, and then another thing too is like, another thing is like, oh, like the officer told me, is like, book your parking right now, and that's going to influence my decision. Or like that might influence, because I don't think he's allowed to. He's like, that might influence my decision. And so I booked the parking in front of him, and like while I was booking it, it kept asking for confirmations, and like my phone was like lagging, and I was like, fuck, dude, I was freaking out. Tried it a few times, and then I also noticed to book the parking spot, it asked me for my return flight, but I don't have a return flight because I'm flying one way out. And so my workaround, this was actually pretty clever. I'm happy I thought of this. I like went to Expedia, looked up for the date that I'm flying, like that I like at the end of my Airbnb that I'm flying back. Looked up the date, looked up a flight, just any random one, and then I looked up the flight number, and then I go back to the reservation, put in the airline and the flight number. Even though I didn't book it, I just found it on Expedia, plugged it in, and it worked. And then I reserved it, and I showed the dude, and then like that helped out. And then so he also like pulled it up, because dude, like I'm saying, all the other officers were in on it. Him and like 4 other officers researched parking against me doing it solo. And so he like wrote it down and held up the ticket. He's like, oh, if you would have driven up, this is what you would have paid, which is $1,400. And he's like, oh, well, like this is what you're paying now. It's like $300. So I saved like over $1,000 just having him, not even me, dude, like him having me look it up and book it. Like, he saved me. That was another blessing. Like, there were so many blessings, even though the experience was super tense and like stressful. I guess stressful to most people. It got to me a little bit, but for the most part, not so much. And like, I could laugh about it now, and I was even laughing about it last night. And so like, it was like a test for me to go through all those emotions. Like, the universe really like shook me up a little bit to humble me and like keep me humble. Like, really, I'm super humbled right now still. And like, so many blessings. And another thing too is like, I feel like that was a moment where it was like, the universe is like, okay, look, the lack of money, this is how bad it could feel. This is the struggle it could cause. This is how shitty it could be. And it was showing me that because I'm about to shift. I've already embodied and shifted in the timeline of me being rich. And so the universe is saying, okay, now that you've embodied that and carry that, and you embody the abundance, the frequency of abundance, I'm going to put you through this situation of the exterior you being poor, even though your interior you is abundant and wealthy. The exterior, I'm going to highlight it and show you this because it's about to change. And I want you to see how bad it could get and how stressful and how tense it could be, so you could enjoy the freedom and the happiness and the everything that it grants. So it was like, for me, my interpretation of that experience was like, it was this minor setback because the universe is about to launch me forward. It was this slingshot. It was the catapult that pulled me back because I'm about to be launched forward. So with that being said, super excited to check out Canada while I'm here, and super excited to fly out to Bali. The camera's been awesome. That 360 one that I got from Costco, super sick. I can't wait to edit it and start uploading that, because I'm able to show you guys so much more. I'm actually able to show you guys like my whole 360 experience while I travel. So I recorded this on my phone because my camera's charging at Airbnb. So I'm here at the shop, the food shop, gonna go eat real quick, and then head back, grab my camera, and go check out Vancouver and show it to you guys. Thinking about going on a little shopping spree to spoil myself. New shoes for my trip, like hiking shoes, because Lord knows I could use some new shoes, dude. Like the ones that I have are falling apart. Like they're literally like the seams have already like unglued and shit. And so shoes, clothes, and like a nice like travel bag that I could like carry with me and like travel with. That's going to be really important. It's an investment into my traveling self. And all the investments I make in myself come back tenfold. Because that's the energy and that's the mentality that we carry moving forward. And that's why we get the most out of life. All right, well then, I'll catch you guys later. I might also go get some more finger tats today because I really like mine and I want more. All right, see you guys later.